story begins as Jade Kepler calls Grandma Maud in panic. Jade says Craig has controlled and hit her for years. She plans to leave him and take Maddie away. The caller waits as danger closes in. Before Jade can escape with Maddie, someone enters the house. Silence fills the empty room. The film never reveals the attacker's face during the opening attack. This leaves Jade's fate and the killer's identity unresolved. Years later, reporter Lorelai Hayes bakes at home during medical leave. She remains away from work while recovering from a miscarriage. Her husband, Parker, tries to reassure her after a recent miscarriage. Lorelai wants to return to the newsroom and reclaim her routine. Parker asks her to rest and recover before returning to work. A girls' night offers a gentler way back into ordinary life. Lorelai plans to meet her oldest friend, Ella Trolley. The reunion gives a grieving friend reason to leave home. A concerned husband has tried to keep life steady at home. The house represents support after recent loss. At Jackie's house, the friends revisit old college stories together. They joke about changing careers and rebuilding their adult lives. The two girls prepare for their own evening together. Their caregiver watches the departure with quiet concern. She has built her life around protecting the child she raises. The warmth is real, yet old resentments sit beneath it. Ella asks about Lorelai's fertility treatments, but Lorelai dodges the question. A strange noise suddenly interrupts their warm conversation. One friend questions whether grief is driving the tense reaction. Lorelai instead senses an intruder somewhere inside the house. A male intruder suddenly grabs Lorelai and demands Maddie. Jackie and Ella rush into the kitchen to help Lorelai. All three women fight him with whatever they can reach. The intruder is cut, struck, and briefly driven toward the exit. Then Lorelai grabs a marble cutting board and hits him again. Lorelai cries after the struggle. When the women check him, they realize he is dead. The friends weigh calling police, while fear pulls them in different directions. Jackie refuses and identifies the dead intruder as Craig. One friend recognizes why the intruder came. Jackie had told everyone Craig was already dead. She says the child was hidden for safety. Jackie says Craig came for Maddie. She believes the threat would never have stopped. Lorelai saw Craig appearing to leave. She cannot ignore delivering the fatal blow then. Fatal timing makes silence impossible. Ella fears investigators may reject a self-defense claim. Jackie says Craig's death does not end the danger. She hints that someone else will hunt them if authorities become involved. She refuses to explain. Ella argues prison would separate them from the children. It would also destroy Lorelai's hopes for her future. Under pressure, Lorelai agrees to help hide the body. One friend agrees to conceal what happened. The cover-up drives into the darkness. They dig a grave before dawn. Lorelai fears someone will find out. The burial continues while unanswered messages deepen the danger. The burial changes the three friends in different ways. Each shovel of dirt is treated as protection for the child. The group erases its trail. Someone says they are retrieving the dead man's phone. Lorelai keeps asking questions neither woman wants to answer. Who will search for Craig? Even afterward, the group feels unsafe. An unseen observer follows the group. Jackie answers that the less Lorelai knows, the safer everyone remains. That refusal ensures the cover-up immediately becomes an investigation. Back home, Lorelai lies about the dirt on her clothes. She claims she helped Jackie plant rose bushes. The cover story holds but strains the friendship. At home, concern follows the shaken figure upstairs. The miscarriage and killing weigh on her together. Morning concern masks the previous night's trauma. Alone, the shaken figure finally breaks down. Outside, household routines continue. The encounter proves how fragile their story is. Maddie then mentions a gift from Grandma Maud. Jackie reluctantly explains that Maud is Craig's mother. She has never discussed this family connection. Lorelai asks who else might be searching for Craig. Jackie treats the questions as a greater threat than the missing man. A tense reaction interrupts the argument. Corey is investigating reports of a neighborhood prowler. The reports came on the killing night. Corey questions all three women and asks to inspect their security cameras. Jackie's camera is supposedly broken. The friends remember that their late-night departure may have been recorded. Lorelai quickly invents an ice cream trip to explain the journey. Corey does not confront her. He also mentions an abandoned truck on Shelter Road. Once he leaves, Lorelai wants to inspect it. The questioning creates new risks as the reporter presses for details. Corey's friendly manner makes the danger sharper. He knows Lorelai well enough to remember her favorite ice cream. He has previously helped her obtain local stories. Corey's questions combine official inquiry with personal knowledge. He recognizes Lorelai's habits. Lorelai uses their friendship to redirect him. She also begins treating his confidential details as leads. Lorelai keeps trying to stay ahead of the case. Her behavior consequently looks more suspicious to everyone. Secrecy now strains their central friendship. Parker learns Corey visited during their planned golf game. Lorelai minimizes the conversation and keeps Craig's phone hidden. The phone later disappears. The reporter confronts the hidden history before searching for harder proof. During a nighttime search, Lorelai becomes dizzy and nearly collapses. Parker finds her, but receives another evasive answer. The following day, Lorelai confronts Jackie about Troy's messages. Jackie says Troy is Craig's dangerous brother. She insists he must never find them. Lorelai remains unsure whether the warning is true. Another evasive answer keeps truth buried. The reporter's search returns home. The search reveals evidence of another hidden identity. She becomes certain Jackie concealed much more. The photograph gives Lorelai a concrete lead. Darkness conceals evidence of another family connection. A friend interrupts the search. The confrontation ends the visitor's search. The address lead waits through an argument. The search is interrupted before Lorelai finds more answers. Lorelai searching Jackie's room. Ella refuses to help. She accuses Lorelai of investigating a friend. Their argument exposes a deeper fracture. Ella says Lorelai stopped showing up after Cindy was born. Lorelai believes Ella replaced her with Jackie. Neither woman explains the pain beneath those accusations. Lorelai leaves with the address connected to Maud. Near Maud's home, Lorelai meets a long-haired man. He introduces himself as Troy and calls Maud his mother. Lorelai uses a false name and pretends to know Craig. Troy seems polite, which briefly makes Jackie's warnings look exaggerated. Lorelai leaves before revealing why she came. That night, Lorelai secretly watches Jackie approach Craig's abandoned truck with fuel. Jackie tries to remove the evidence. An attempted burning goes wrong before Lorelai interrupts. The watcher discovers the attempted cleanup. The truckside confrontation raises the stakes. Suspicion now becomes direct confrontation. Troy would kill her if police exposed where she lives. The two friends defend secrecy, while guilt divides the group. Lorelai lost her father at a young age. They fear that confession would destroy the family they protected. The third friend refuses to keep the secret. Their separate actions show that the alliance has already fractured. Lorelai seeks truth through records and witnesses. Jackie and Ella try hiding physical evidence. Each side believes it is protecting the others. In practice, the two plans sabotage one another. Moving Craig prevents Lorelai's confession from being verified. Lorelai's earlier visit risks drawing Troy toward Parkland. Lorelai finally goes to Corey alone. She says Craig broke into Jackie's house. She admits striking him with the cutting board. The second blow came as Craig tried to leave. She leads officers to the grave. After a long search, they find nothing. The missing body makes Lorelai appear unstable. The abandoned truck is also gone. Corey promises to investigate. Without a body, however, he cannot prove a crime. The police escort home makes the household's growing suspicion impossible to hide. Lorelai again asks for time before telling him the truth. The private meeting strengthens Parker's suspicion. Lorelai cannot explain before leaving again. Another hurried departure leaves the worried husband without an explanation. The search reaches another home. Inside, the elder studies the visitor's questions with recognition. The reaction confirms that the hidden identity is familiar. The elder begins revealing the hidden family history. Maud says Jade supposedly slipped on toys. She then fell down the stairs and died. Photographs support the account of abuse and escape. Maud eventually accepted the truth about Craig. By then, Jade was already dead. Later, Jackie arrived at Maud's door carrying Maddie and begging for help. The listener learns that violence forced a caregiver and child to run. Maud remembered failing Jade. The account explains why the child was sent away for safety. Craig would never willingly surrender Maddie, whom he treated like property. Maud kept limited secret contact and brought gifts whenever she could. The listener understands the secret surrounding the child. Jade's death remains an official accidental fall. Troy comes home early and questions Lorelai's story. He notices her vehicle is connected to Parkland. Craig recently traveled there before disappearing. Lorelai leaves before Troy can press harder. The encounter suggests the two deaths may connect. Lorelai requests Jade's autopsy report from the newsroom. Physical evidence contests the family's competing stories. When Lorelai returns from the unexplained interstate trip, Parker demands the truth. Lorelai's travel and private meetings trouble Parker. The continuing evasions make him suspect an affair. Lorelai's silence hurts Parker. He leaves to stay with his mother. Lorelai meant to protect Parker from becoming an accessory. Instead, he now doubts their marriage. Lorelai confronts Jackie about the empty grave and Maud's revelations. The confrontation exposes a hidden threat from that night. After she asked what really happened to Jade, Craig beat her. Troy warned that she could be pushed down the stairs too. Jackie believes Troy killed Jade to stop Jade leaving with Maddie. She has no direct proof. Lorelai gives Jackie until the next day to arrange care for Maddie. Then all three women must go to police. Before that can happen, Troy follows Lorelai home. He mocks Lorelai's false name. Then he demands to know what happened to Craig. Troy attacks her, making Jackie's warning about his present danger objectively true. Parker returns during the assault. He strikes Troy with a golf club. Troy escapes, while Parker tends Lorelai's injuries. Lorelai promises to tell Corey. She still hopes Ella and Jackie will support the same account. Lorelai goes to Ella and demands that they confess together. Ella refuses to confess. The argument shifts to Troy being loose and needing police protection. Their old resentment finally explodes. Ella says Lorelai abandoned her when she asked for help with Cindy. Lorelai explains why she could not watch Cindy that day. She was hospitalized during a miscarriage. She hid the loss. Ella was traveling, and Lorelai did not want her to feel guilty. Ella apologizes, and the friends briefly reconcile. The prospect of prison leaves the room overwhelmed and divided. Lorelai tries to leave. The confrontation leaves one friend visibly shaken. Jackie arrives and supports the restraint. They keep Lorelai from police, while considering their options. Lorelai attacks the secrecy directly, forcing Jackie to explain her entire past. Questioning exposes the history of abuse. She fled the house, but could not stop thinking about Maddie. Jackie returned and found the 2-year-old alone. Maddie screamed while Craig drank at a bar. Jackie carried Maddie to Maud, who told them to run. Jackie isn't Maddie's biological mother. She took Maddie without Craig's consent. She believed Maddie otherwise faced a violent home. The account explains the desperate escape. It does not persuade Lorelai to continue the cover-up. The revelation exposes how much history had been kept from one friend. That trust makes Lorelai feel excluded from their newer bond. The realization shows how fiercely the newer bond shaped every decision. The caregiver's past now carries clearer moral weight. Official systems had already failed Jade. Lorelai accepts that moral truth without accepting the next conclusion. Protecting Maddie may explain Jackie's flight. It cannot justify leaving Troy free to attack another person. Outside, the divided group nears a breaking point. One friend pleads for the others not to leave. Another argues as the plan to involve police moves forward. Elsewhere, the long-haired threat closes in on the divided group. At the station, the confession begins. The intruder silently studies the captives. The captives remain controlled. Jackie admits Craig is dead and buried in the woods. Troy forces both women into a vehicle. The threat remains firmly in control. At the station, Lorelai asks police to intervene. An urgent phone call pulls her attention elsewhere. Lorelai realizes danger is outpacing police. She leaves the station. She tries Ella's phone and hears the frightened voicemail Ella recorded earlier. Lorelai learns the children are safely inside the house. The news confirms Lorelai's worst fear. The captives, not the children, face immediate danger. Outside, the reporter races to pass the danger forward. Then she sends the grave's location. This time, Lorelai does not keep the dangerous knowledge to herself. Lorelai hurries inside carrying an urgent warning. This time, Lorelai includes a location. She also brings police into the chain. The choice reverses the opening tragedy. This caller is no longer isolated. Several people now move toward the threatened women. Troy forces Jackie and Ella to dig for Craig. He accuses Jackie of stealing Maddie and throwing Craig away like trash. Lorelai reaches the woods and steps forward. One figure draws the armed threat's attention. This draws Troy's attention away from her friends. She then accuses Troy of killing Jade. He denies that she can prove it. Lorelai explains that Jade's autopsy lists bruises supposedly caused by the fall. The armed threat reacts as the accusation recalls the old injury. Faced with the connection, Troy finally confesses. Jade planned to leave Craig with Maddie. Troy killed her to stop that escape. Police accepted the death as an accidental fall. Craig was pleased and later moved on to Jackie. Troy prepares to kill the women beside Craig's grave. A desperate struggle erupts before help. The confrontation erupts into gunfire and a struggle. The first shot's target remains unclear. No one can safely claim whom it strikes. Maud fires upward and orders everyone to stop. Police reach Maud. An officer advances beside Maud. Troy runs, but police quickly catch him. Lorelai is hurt, but Parker finds her alive. Finally, everyone gathers peacefully at Lorelai and Parker's home. Families reunite after consequences for the cover-up. A newborn brings them together in joy. The women remain close to their families. Maud says Troy is alive in prison and doing soul-searching. Therapy helps Maud release guilt over her son's actions. Living with Jackie and Maddie brightens her days. Parker and Lorelai now have a newborn, and their friends bring gifts. The children gather around the baby. The newborn becomes the gathering's hopeful center. The gathering ends with hope for the next generation.